Good morning, everyone. Today is Mark chapter 6. Then he went out from there and came to his own country, and his disciples followed him. And when the Sabbath had come, he began to teach in the synagogue. And many hearing him were astonished, saying, "Where did this man get these things? And what wisdom is this which is given to him, that such mighty work are performed by his hand? It is not the carpenter, the son of Mary, and brother of James, Joseph, Judah, and Simon? And are not his sisters here with us?" So they were offended at him. But Jesus said to him, "A prophet is not without honor, except in his own country, among his own relative, and in his own house." Now, he could do no mighty work there, except that he laid his hand on a few sick people and healed them. And he marveled because of their unbelief. Then he went about the village in a circuit teaching. And he called the 12 up to himself and began to send them out two by two, and gave them power over unclean spirits. He commanded them to take nothing for the journey except a staff, no bag, no bread, no copper in their money belt, but to wear sandals, and not to put on two tunics. Also, he said to them, "In whatever place you enter a house, stay there till you depart from the place. And whoever will not receive you nor hear you, when you depart from there, shake off the dust under your feet as a testimony against them. Surely I say to you, it will be more tolerable for Sodom and Gomorrah in the day of judgment than for that city." So they went out and preached that people should repent. And they cast out many demons and anointed with oil many who were sick and healed them. Now King Herod heard of him, for his name had become well known, and he said, "John the Baptist risen from the dead, and therefore these power are at work in him." Others said, "It is Elijah." And others said, "It is the prophet, or like one of the prophets." But when Herod heard, he said, "This is John, whom I beheaded. He had been raised from the dead." For Herod himself had sent and laid hold of Jesus, and bound him in prison for the sake of Herodias, his brother Philip's wife, for he had married her. Because John had said to Herod, "It is not lawful for you to have your brother's wife." Therefore Herodias held it against him and wanted to kill him. But she could not, for Herod feared John, knowing that he was a just and holy man. And he protected him. And when he heard him, he did many things and heard him gladly. Then an opportune day came when Herod on his birthday gave a feast for his nobles, the high officers, and the chief men of Galilee. And when Herodias' daughter herself came in and danced, and pleased Herod and those who sat with him, the king said to the girl, "Ask me whatever you want, and I will give it to you." He also swore to her, "Whatever you ask me, I will give you, up to half my kingdom." So she went out and said to her mother, "What should I ask?" And she said, "The head of John the Baptist." Immediately she came in with haste to the king and asked, saying, "I want you to give me at once the head of John the Baptist on the platter." And the king was exceedingly sorry, yet because of the oath he and because of those who sat with him, he did not want to refuse her. Immediately the king sent an executor executioner and commanded his head to be brought. And he went and beheaded him in prison, brought his head on the platter, and gave it to the girl, and the girl gave it to her mother. When his disciples heard of it, they came and took away his corpse and laid it in a tomb. Then the apostle gathered to Jesus and told him all things, both what they had done and what they had taught. And he said to them, come aside by yourselves to a deserted place and rest a while. For there were many coming and going, and they did not even have time to eat. So they departed to the deserted place in the boat by themselves. But multitudes saw them departing, and many knew him and ran there on foot from all the cities. They arrived before them and came together to him. And Jesus, when he came out, saw a great multitude and was moved with compassion for them, because they were like sheep, not having a shepherd. So he began to teach them many things. When the day was now far spent, his disciple came to him and said, this is a deserted place, and already the hour is late. Send them away, that they may go into the surrounding country and villages and buy themselves bread, for they have nothing to eat. But he answered and said to them, you give them something to eat. And they said to him, shall we go and buy 200 denarii worth of bread and give them something to eat? But he said to them, how many loaves do you have? Go and see. And when they found out, they said, 5 and 2 fish. Then he commanded them to make them all sit down in group on the green grass. So they sat down in ranks, in 100 and in 50s. And when he had taken the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, he looked up to heaven, blessed them, broke the loaves, and gave them to his disciples to set before them. And the 2 fish he divided among them all. So they all ate and were filled. And they took up 12 baskets full of fragments and of the fish. Now, those who had eaten the loaves were about 5,000 men. Immediately he made his disciples get into the boat and go before him to the other side, to Bethsaida, while he sent the multitude away. And when he had sent them away, he departed to the mountain to pray. Now, when evening came, the boat was in the middle of the sea, and he was alone on the land. Then he saw them straining at rowing, for the wind was against them. Now, about the 4th watch of the night, he came to them, walking on the sea, and would have passed them by. And when they saw him walking on the sea, they supposed it was a ghost, and cried out, for they all saw him and were troubled. But immediately he talked with them and said to them, be good, be of good cheer, it is I, do not be afraid. Then he went up into the boat to them, and the wind ceased, and they were greatly amazed in themselves beyond measure, and marveled, for they had not understood about the loaves, because their heart was hardened. When they had crossed over, they came to the land of Gennesaret and anchored there. And when they came out of the boat, immediately the people recognized him, ran through that whole surrounding region, and began to carry about on bed those who were sick to wherever they heard he was. Wherever he entered into village, cities, or the country, they led the sick in the marketplace and begged him that they might just touch the hem of his garment, and as many as touched him were made well. So, for me, among the many miracles of Jesus, the most beautiful one is this when he sent his disciple ahead into the storm. You might wonder why, but I can see the setup of their spiritual growth. Previously, when Jesus calmed the storm on the way to, Gerasene, the disciples were amazed, but failed to realize something very crucial. They thought only Jesus can do this. But later, Jesus gave them authority to heal the sick and cast out demons, when he sent them two by two, right? So they experienced God's power working through them. Then after the feeding of the 5,000, Jesus sent them all together ahead of him. Yes, there are many reasons and there are many different meditation, but when I think this one, when Jesus sent them two by two, they could perform miracle because Jesus gave the authority over them, right? But now all together, all disciples, they were together, and Jesus sent them to opposite city, which means he is sending them. So what should happen when they encounter the storm? Shouldn't they perform something against the storm? I hope you understand what I mean to tell you. I'm not telling you that because disciples were empowered by Christ, so whenever they want, they can, perform the miracles. But no, Jesus was with them when Jesus was first time sees the storm. And now, who sent them to go ahead? Jesus. Jesus sent disciples go ahead of him, which means he gave them should, also work against the storm. Through the disciples, struggle, though the disciples struggle and fail to exercise the power in the waves, the beauty, okay, the most beautiful thing in this story is Jesus did not abandon them. First of all, when he sent them, he prayed for them. That's the point. And when they were about to sink, Jesus walked on the water and he ran to them and met them. And once again, the beauty of this miracle lies in his heart. He Yes, he pushes us into the storm to reveal our potential, but he always comes walking on the wave when we need him the most. Isn't it beautiful? And he said, don't be afraid, be still. I love this part. It is I, right? Jesus said, be good of cheer. It is I. Do not be afraid. So, friends, I want you to read once again, and I hope you enjoy this meditation. So, have a wonderful day, and may God bless you all.